If you bought in 2020 or 2021, you've got a mortgage rate that more than likely starts with a 2 and the house doesn't fit anymore, which you have got the itch to move, but trading that rate for a 6.5 feels like a trap and not very good. Then June this year happened. Rates didn't fall, something else finally broke the standoff, and it's a thing you already own. I've been selling real estate here in the Twin Cities for 25 years, so let me give you the rundown and show you exactly what changed. You're sitting there in your pajamas and you're back on that casual Zillow doom scroll. You're not really looking, and then you tap that payment calculator. And 4 seconds later, you close the tab, and I don't blame you. That's 4 years of the Twin Cities market summed up in one moment. So here's why we've been stuck in that cycle. Take your loan amount, move it from a 3% rate to today's 6.5%, and your principal and interest payment climbs pretty far. You're gonna go up almost 35 to 40%, plus taxes and insurance all on top of that. So you stay right where you are. It's not because you love your house. It's because the math says no and your pocketbook says no. And when enough people look at the same math and do that at the same time, the whole market pretty much seized up. The Twin Cities favored sellers hard in 2021 and 2022. Then things drifted towards balance. But balance needs homes for sale, and there weren't very many at all. So buyers fought over scraps, offered over asking, waived inspections they should have taken, and they lost out on that home anyway. Meanwhile, the guy who wanted a bigger yard, they just stayed put. The couple who wanted a shorter drive, they stayed put too. The same pattern in 2023, the same pattern in 2024. Rates were high, owners were frozen, and buyers were watching. That kind of standoff wears people down. Buyers stop believing it'll ever be their turn to be a homeowner, and owners live in houses that stopped working for them and their families years ago. Well, something had to give, and when it did, it gave all at once. June broke it wide open. New listings across the Twin Cities actually jumped 10.5%. Nobody made them do it. There was no rate cuts. Homeowners just decided in droves that it was time. And here's what that looks like on a Saturday in the real estate market. More open houses, more homes to compare, more freedom to walk out of a home that doesn't feel exactly right. All these listings stacked up into real inventory. Close to 11,000 homes for sale across the metro. If you look statewide, that number is just over 19,000. And the statewide number is at a 7-year high. Remember that number because it becomes your competition when you're a home seller. So Metro Supply moved to 2.8 months of a supply. That is not a flood. But compared to the last few springs where you showed up to an open house with a line out the door, well, this feels completely different. This wasn't one hot pocket of the metro. It actually showed up everywhere. No single neighborhood is skewing the data. Homeowners stopped waiting for the headlines and moved on their own timeline, which matters because the explanation everybody's been using for years is about to fall completely apart. Real quick, if that standoff is your life right now, well, you're not alone. We walk Twin Cities homeowners through how to navigate this market every single day, when to sell, what your equity actually is, and what it buys you next. We've got a form in the description down below. Just fill it out and we'll run the numbers together. All right, let's get back to it. Here's the part you need to remember about the current market. Rates never dropped. Freddie Mac's weekly average sat near 6.5 straight through June. No relief, no policy change, no surprise cut. If you were waiting for that moment, it never came. And since June, rates have only gone the wrong way. There was 1 week in early July where rates dipped to 6.43, and that was pretty much 1 week. And then they climbed right back up, unfortunately. Latest average, well, we're sitting at right about 6.6%, the highest mark of the year. For 2 years, forecast after forecast has promised us lower rates. Most of them were wrong. So think about what that does to the market we're talking about right now. For 4 years, the story seemed simple. Rates are high, so nobody moves. The mentality was just wait until the rates go back down. But nobody's rate got better in June. And those people moved anyway. The locked-in effect didn't disappear. It just stopped being the only thing in the equation. Enough life happened to enough people, and the old payment stopped being the only number that mattered because another number had been quietly growing the whole time. It's sitting in your house right now. Equity. That's what broke the standoff. If you bought a home in 2021, the metro median is up about 17% since then. Now, that money isn't free, and it isn't real until you actually sell your house. But it completely changes what's possible on the next house. Bigger down payment, smaller loan amount, a payment that actually works even at 6.5%. It changes the entire kitchen table conversation around the math you throw around to see if a move is actually right for you. And if you want proof that this is exactly what happened in June, well, here it is. Statewide, pending sales for homes under $300,000 rose 5.2%. Pending sales for homes over $1 million, well, those are up 42%, believe it or not. Now, that doesn't mean every June seller bought a bigger house, but it lines up perfectly with owners who had more equity and more options. They were the ones positioned to move fast. And then there's the other half of it. 4 years is a long time to postpone your life. A new job forces a move. Another kid needing a room, well, they force a move too. Life doesn't wait for the perfect rate. In June, enough homeowners decided the numbers worked well enough for them. 4 years of delayed plans just didn't disappear out of nowhere, but they do stack up. And when they release all at once, the market had to absorb it. Now, here's the fear every agent has. All of those homes hit at once, and prices can crater. That is not what happened. Those listings did not sit there for a long period of time. Buyers were waiting. Pending sales actually went up 9.7%. It's the second strong month in a row. Closings were up even more to 10.7%. 5,600 homes closed in June alone, the biggest annual gain in more than a year. So keep that number. It matters in a minute if you're thinking about listing. Prices, believe it or not, went up. The metro median hit $410,000, a record for June. Statewide, $375,000. Let that sink in. Inventory at a multi-year high, supply and demand, they both grew. Buyers who spent 4 years losing bidding wars finally got actual choices. June was their first real opening. So for every owner worried that more listings would tank the market, well, June answered it. More homes gave both sides room to make a deal, but that room cuts both ways. Record prices? And selling still got harder. There's no denying that. Homes are sitting longer. 42 days on the market. A year ago, it was 39. And sellers are getting 99.6% of their original list price. Last year, that number was a clean 100%. It's still a small slip, nothing to be overly concerned about. But that's the real indicator of the state of the market that we're currently in. More competition means buyers can afford to be picky. So here's the split happening now. A well-priced, well-presented home still moves fast. A home testing the market with an ambitious number, well, that's going to sit, and it's going to keep sitting. Condition matters more than it did 2 years ago. So does pricing honestly and competitively from day one. The small stuff, it counts again as a seller. Make sure you have fresh paint, clean yard, photos that actually showcase the house. The president of the Minneapolis area realtors called it a healthier balance between buyers and sellers. Homes priced appropriately, well, they're still selling, she said. The president of the Minnesota Realtors Association said that added inventory is creating opportunities for buyers, while stronger demand still supports sellers on the other side. Neither called this a buyer's market. They described a market that's finally moving again. It's not moving the way it was in 2020 or 2021, but compared to the last 4 years, it's a big jump. And if you're holding the keys right now, that's the market you're walking into. So what does this mean? For 4 years, that standoff handed sellers the biggest advantage they'd ever had and had ever seen before. That edge just got smaller. Remember that inventory number? Nearly 11,000 homes hitting the market? Every single one of those homes is a house a buyer could pick instead of yours. But you don't have to miss your window. The record high median we just covered is the proof. This is not a market punishing sellers. This is a market that stopped low effort sellers. The era where anything sold, well, that's done. Presentation matters again. Pricing matters again, maybe more than ever. And the president of the Minnesota Association made one more point worth sitting with. Affordability has not improved for buyers. Sellers can't just name a number and wait for the offers to roll in. In this market, where the prepared seller does very well and the unprepared seller watches the buyers pass your listing by. So what's the bottom line? If you've been on the sidelines for the past 4 years, June is the first month in a long time where the numbers say that the market might not be waiting anymore. Whether that's true for you comes down to 3 things. What do you still owe? What you'd realistically buy next? And how your house stacks up against everything else sitting on the market right now. Those 3 answers tell you almost everything. A video can't run those numbers. A conversation, that can. So waiting for the perfect rate was never really a plan for anybody. It was the reason to justify staying put. June proved that patience runs out eventually. If this is the year your reasons finally outweigh your rate, you need to fill out that form in that description right down below. Our team will run numbers against what's actually selling in your neighborhood and give you a straight answer. Whether you're buying or selling or both, we'll help you navigate this massive shift in the market. Now, if you're one of those buyers finally shopping now, that inventory has opened up. Well, you're stuck between an older home and new construction. There's a rate detail the mortgage headlines will never show you. The video linked right here breaks down interest rates that builders are actually offering, which are 30-year fixed, in many cases below 5%. Plus, the one resale timing mistake that catches new construction sellers completely off guard. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video and at the next house.